This episode of the Divorce Club Aftermath is brought to you by Rano.
Everyone is looking for the one, but how do you know when you actually find the one? And how do you know if you are the one for them? You are watching the Divorce Club Aftermath, and I'm your host, Coach David. And joining me in the studio to look at last episode on the Divorce Club is a wonderful panel of people. Quite exciting because it's going to get hot today. And I'm sure because you've watched the last episode, you know what's about to come today. Joining me in the studio on my right is Bish Eddie Mulenga, who's a regular guest on the show. And Bish, welcome.
Well, it's a joy to be here and can't wait to get into it.
You can't wait to get into it, yeah?
Thank you for watching Divorce Club Aftermath. You got to stay here and enjoy this set.
And we have Stu, the Zambian feminist. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you here. I'm a regular follower of your posts on Facebook.
I'm sorry about that, but I'm so excited that I'm here.
And the famous Lavu Doctor. Should I say it the Zambian way?
Yeah,
Lavu
the
Doctor.
Lavu Doctor.
Lavu Doctor.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm very excited to be here as well.
Yeah. Did you watch the last episode of the show? Yeah. It's interesting.
Very, very interesting.
I can't wait for us to get into it. Bish.
Well, it's interesting.
It's interesting.
How'd you get to a place where please marry me?
Please marry me.
I can't wait to dissect that particular one. But it's common. It's not like it's unique. Actually, people go through that situation.
I'm sorry, Bish, but please marry me is what stood up for you, not the other women with the women.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's get to talk about the fact that, let's start with Wilson, Coco, and Rita. Wilson was got in touch with his ex, right? Mm-hmm. Should people still keep in touch with the ex?
Well,
Doctor.
I think it depends on what they want to talk about. So if your ex, you have a child with your ex, definitely you're going to communicate because you want to talk about the welfare of the child.
Okay.
But if there's literally nothing that you have for each other, I think for the respect of the person that you are with in a new relationship, it's best to just do away with the communication.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doc.
It's an interesting situation. First and foremost, when a relationship is broken, like Love Doctor says, I think you're not in good place to keep in touch with your ex. My story is an interesting one.
But let's look at this. She helped him in a situation where he needed a place to stay after a fight with his current. So isn't that a good reason to keep in touch with an ex?
You mean there are no other people this guy could have gone to except his ex, who he claims is his best friend? He has no other male support systems in his life to have gone to than to start opening up odd boxes.
It's an emergency. I need a place to stay.
No.
I'm pretty sure at that particular time, because they could have been communicating. It wasn't just like it was a one-way off where because you are coming out of this hating situation and then you rushed your ex. They could have been communicating and he could have been talking to Coco for a long time. So Coco just took advantage like, okay, fine. So you have reached this stage. I'm here. Please come.
Nah.
Coach David, it's dangerous when you are vulnerable to be in the space of your ex.
What about if it starts out innocently? Like, hi, hello, how you doing? It's been long. I mean, they were probably friends before.
Why is he entertaining that relationship, first of all? That's something we should ask ourselves. Why is he entertaining a relationship with his ex, who, by the way, according to the episode, was not even living in the country? So he had a lot of people he could go and complain to before he decides to go and sit with Madame Coco. So for me, I just think that he was setting himself up for failure, and he knew that his girlfriend did not want him to see that chick. So why was he going there?
However, I wouldn't really want to like put the whole blame on Wilson, because Rita also, I think she's a mentor.
I was going to come to that because look at the situation, right? This guy had a crazy. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. Like, there's no way of masking that. No offense to anyone, but she was crazy. Yeah. Do you think maybe she drove him to that point?
Definitely. I feel like Rita's behavior, I don't think there's any normal sane man who would stand that. You know what I mean? you need to be fed with juju
I'm sorry, but I love
for
doctor.
you to to really take that.
You all need to take ownership. First of all, this thing went sour, but they were both doing the same things in the relationship. He can't come out and claim victim. First of all, I can say violence against anyone should not be condoned, right? Whether male or female, you should not hurt each other. But the truth is saying that she drove him away. It means that he was also doing something. So why should we act like he was in a bottle when he was also a participant?
The situation is like this. So there's violence, of course, that we saw Rita bringing out.
Right.
Okay, but when we look at Wilson, I think he's a little bit calm. And then there's a situation of cheating where Rita was involved with other women, you know, and then Rita also says Wilson was
come to that one.
Wilson was also involved with, you know, other women, including the friends to Rita.
To Rita.
You know what I mean? So, but when you look at the mental status of Rita, definitely that would push a man away.
Yeah,
That
I
would for the cheating,
understand.
probably they try to, you know, harness it. But the biggest problem that was pushing these, you know, two apart was the mental status of Rita. Because even when they came to kind of reconcile, they were busy. She was just busy fighting, wanting to slap this, wanting to beat this.
She went through all four seasons of the weather in one.
Before we talk about her relationship with other women, still help us. What gets a woman to that place?
I will tell you what gets a woman to that point of craziness.
I'd like to hear that.
It's men, first of all.
What do we do? What do we do?
You guys also know it is men. Because I feel that she was in a position where she felt like, you know, like she went through all four seasons of the weather in one sitting. She was happy, she was calm, she was crying, she was pleading. It's because I feel that sometimes also women suffer through mental abuse that makes them feel like they're so inadequate even in their relationship.
Why would you stay in a relationship
It's not that easy because these men also groom people. Men also groom women because they make you feel
I feel Rita was actually competing with Wilson, because if Rita was the one who was going out with these other women, to me, I feel like she's behaving like a man. So it's a competition now, like she's competing with Wilson.
No, I'm sorry. I think sexual gratification has got nothing to do with competition. It's got everything to do with what your body wants. And I'm afraid to get into that.
Okay, so let's get into that one, right?
Yes.
Rita has...
Sorry,
I hear you, but before we lose the thought, nobody can make you become what you are not. It's not really the Wilson factor or that's her toxic personality.
Yeah.
All right? It doesn't matter how hard you press a Colgate tube. If what's in there is lemonade, it will not be Colgate. It's not your squeeze on the lemon that produces that, all right? So you can't blame anybody when you're going through a situation and say, you made me. No, that's who you are.
I don't agree with that.
It's not the squeeze on the lemon.
I don't agree with saying that you cannot... People get groomed. It's the same thing where they are victims of certain things where they ask you, why didn't you go? But then how do you go when that is your only source or the only person you've ever known? It's the same with victims in marriages where there's abuse. They can't go anywhere because sometimes these relationships make you feel alone. You can't go anywhere else.
How do you get there?
So it gets there it's slow. It's built up. It's grooming as well. People do things to you. They make you feel that they give you literally a boob where you're sucking on. And once you pull that boob away,
you have no
livelihood. You have no other thing to suck. Am I allowed to say that? Sorry, Bish. But that's what I'm trying to say, that is what happens. It's a build-up and they make you feel so alone. They get rid of... Maybe even Rita did not want to hook up with these women, but she was trying to fulfill the pleasure.
Usually the problem comes in where when we enter into these relationships, usually people will say, I come in with my 100% and bring in your 100%.
Right.
So you are giving in your 100%, and when this person breaks up with you, you feel like they've gone with your 100%. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why people become so inclined. You know, you cling to this person like if they leave, then I have no life anymore. So you tend to cling to this person.
Right.
You know, and all the 4 years that they were together,
right,
you tend to start learning these bad habits and they become part of you. You know, so when you kind of want to go, you feel like, whoa, this person is going with the whole of me. So I can't let go.
So should people shouldn't give the 100% in a relationship?
So when you come, like every person should come with the 100%.
Okay.
I'm not saying giving. You're not giving. You are coming with your 100%. Even when you are going, you're still going with it. But because you spend time with this person for a long time, you tend to make these people become part of you. You know what I mean? That's why even the Bible says when you get married, you become one. So as you date, whether you're dating or you're just cohabiting, you tend to start breaking up your 100%. You know what I mean? Giving it to this person. So when this person tends to break up with you, you feel like, well, they are going with my 100%.
David.
They are going with me. You know what I mean? So you cling. And that's how Rita, like, yes, she has this mentor, but she gave herself to Wilson.
Yeah.
And now she was feeling like Wilson is going, and now he's just breaking me apart. You know, he's disrespecting me. And worse, there's another woman, there's Coco, you know what I mean? And she feels like, I can't give up for Coco, you know? I can't be a loser.
Yeah.
So...
But the problem also in relationships, my Dokota, is that sometimes people end up losing their individuality in these relationships, and they take the identities of their partner to the stage where you share everything. I know people think this whole sharing thing is romantic,
which is okay.
But for me personally, as a feminist, I feel that you don't lose your identity in any relationship or marriage, because that's the essence of who you are. If you don't know who you are, how are you going to be the best version of you to the other person?
Okay, so don't lose your individuality.
No, don't.
But in this particular situation, you can see clearly that this lady is not Wilson at all.
No.
In fact, Wilson and her are two opposites.
They are.
So I don't even know how this relationship has survived 4 years.
That's the reason
you
why
talked
I'm
about you talked about sharing things, right?
Yeah.
And here we have Rita and Wilson sharing Vanessa. I wish Vanessa came in the studio. I don't know why they left her out. Now let's talk about Rita and her friendships that seems to go off, you know, beyond the line.
Yeah.
When do we draw the line with women relationships?
I will tell you something that the country is not ready for. When it comes to such relationships, most men, that's why I even asked the bitch that, why weren't you outraged that there were all these other women? The only problem is that men objectify women when it comes to sexuality. So 2 women together, 3 women, it seems like Wilson had the time of his life, right? Because that's how we are made to perceive it, that it's just very, it's 2 women. Someone even said that, 2 women hooking up is not cheating up. It's not cheating, it's a good time. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so this guy knew that his girl was doing all these things, but he was okay with it because at the end of the day, she seems that she was bringing those girls to their bed.
So, okay, so what are your thoughts on the lesbian relationship that Rita was having? Was that a problem? Do you think that's what drove Wilson to become who he was? Or was Wilson's behavior the reason why Rita became who she was?
I can't speak for Rita in her relationships with women, but what I can say is that the problem came when the boyfriend also decided to participate in these relationships.
So he should have put a stop to it?
He should have put a stop, because at the end of the day, cheating is cheating regardless of the gender of the person you're with.
Okay.
So the problem for me is not, I can't judge Rita with what she was doing or what she chose to do or what made her feel good in the morning or in the night or at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. But all I can say is that the problem is when you introduce any partner into a relationship and you haven't had that opportunity to discuss with your partner. Of course, they're going to be mad.
Discuss it, okay.
I mean, I'm a modern person.
But I'm thinking
in this modern age.
Yes, look.
I'm about to pray for her.
When we look at Zambia, we don't accept such relationships. So I'm pretty sure it will be something that is so shocking. Like, you're going out with your boyfriend, right? And then you tend to learn that your boyfriend has another boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's something that will really shock you.
Yeah.
And if you tend to cling to this relationship, it will disturb your mind. Yeah. So for me, I feel Wilson was so disturbed to just learn that Rita has girlfriends. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure.
He was also participating.
No, it's a normal relationship. It's a man and a woman.
Which
but
woman?
Then a woman to a woman, it's something that really shocked him.
Babe, go get me a chick and then we'll talk about it when we get home. That's exactly what was going on.
Let's have the bishop.
Firstly, obviously, you will accept that Zambian society is just not ready. I'm talking about cultural. Is not ready for same-sex arrangements. We have gotten into trouble even on political places where former president made a note about it, and currently it's a big debate going on. So culturally, it is not a norm. I work in the church. Obviously, I counsel and I come in contact with a lot of people who are in these areas, and so I'm working with a number of these people, and it looks like this community is continually growing in with a new generation, so to say. And so I want to think like Love Doctor thinks that when he first understands, it's shocking to Wilson like any other man. Because if there's a cheating situation, you always want to think your partner cheated with something better or higher than you.
Yeah.
And so they get very painful to think, you mean you cheated with me over a woman or something? Yeah. You don't want in a relationship a situation of the cheating because it injures your partner.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I also feel that maybe Wilson feels the way he does because he felt emasculated in his relationship because he's doing everything. I don't know how much we're allowed to talk here, but I mean, he's putting all his effort into making sure he's rocking that bed, and all of a sudden his wife comes to Bishop, his wife comes, his girlfriend comes and decides to choose women other than them. Maybe you think he would feel better if he was being cheated on with a man? Or maybe because then you'll be like, oh, I feel like I've got competition. And then, yes, but then a woman, he's maybe feeling inadequate.
You know, and to make matters worse, there's this Vanessa that they're sharing. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying.
Why are they sharing,
And that's the reason why I'm saying, at the end of the day, Rita was like a man also, and now they're competing.
No.
You know what I mean? So there are all these emotions that are coming in. So like, whoa, I'm having my Vanessa, and then Wilson is also wanting to have my Vanessa. You know what I mean? So it just became so critical.
So was Vanessa the problem in this relationship?
No, I mean, she added the problem, but then also, I just feel, in as much as it's people's right to choose who they want to choose.
Does that right also include picking whether they're going to date or sleep with a man or a woman?
So that's what I'm trying to say. So in as much as they're right, I still feel probably B should come in. I still feel there's some mental problem to it. You know what I mean? Like if Rita was going out with other ladies, I still feel there's some mental, and it came out from the way she behaves.
I don't know at what point he mentions mental. I don't want you to anger people into coming into Jesus Christ. but ultimately, the ultimate pattern for God is that Adam and Eve arrangement. All right. And so we're not going to go theological about this particular situation. I said culturally, our setting does not embrace it. Everybody gets worried if they don't see a man in your life, if you're a woman, or vice versa, if you're a man, the other way. But ultimately, spiritually, in the Christian perspective, we see that the ultimate of God's ultimate setting is that man, Adam, and that woman, Eve. And so we could pick it up from there. Now, I will not discuss liberal theology because by the time I went into my PhD, there's a whole new debate about it.
I'm sure the comments are swarming with pointers on that one right now.
So I'm going to stay evangelical, right?
But you talked about something about our culture, and you said something to say that based on our culture, there's always that expectation to say a woman should be found with a man. Is that what led to Rita's obsession? Because I mean, she was so obsessed. She said, "Marry me, please marry me. Whether you have another woman, whether you have 10, please marry me." What leads a woman to such levels of obsession? And is it?
I can't even defend Rita in her pleading, and I think she was also filled with desperation. Let's be
honest. Is that a cultural problem,
or
is that a personal
For you to reach
problem?
a stage where you're going to sniff someone's manhood, as a way to prove that they were cheating.
Oh, my word.
But that was in the show.
Exactly,
That was
we
in
saw
the
it,
show.
yes.
We all saw her sniff it.
Yeah, and the weight of this story.
Yeah, so for her to reach that stage, it's also...
Do those stories happen?
Yeah.
They do happen. They do happen.
Both men and women
Both
do.
men and it does
Oh,
happen.
my word.
I don't know where people go where they do not shower once they're done with what they're supposed to be doing. But it does happen.
Are you giving people ideas?
I am just telling you that get rid of the evidence before you go where
What
you're
soap
going.
should they use?
I'm not mentioning soaps, but anything with a beautiful fragrance. What I'm trying to say though is she reached a stage where she was so desperate to get
But what led to
this
that obsession?
man's
That's what I want us to
approval.
get to. Lovely doctor. What gets to those levels
So,
of obsession?
like I said, a lot of people when they enter into relationships, of course, the purpose of entering into a relationship is to end with this person until death, parts them. You know what I mean? So probably, and also age, you know what I mean? And the period that you have stayed with this person, you start thinking like, well, for me to start knowing another person, and all these things that they were doing, recording each other, they just bring in all the obsession, like, all these things we've done. If you heard, she said, I have invested in this.
Yeah.
Even allowing herself to be recorded while he's doing the act, you know what I mean, gives you that power to feel like you have given it all, and there's literally no way this person can just decide to say, it's over. You know what I mean? So you become a slave. You become a slave to this person, and you feel they are your king in some way, and they can't just go, So they become so obsessed. That a lot of people get into obsession by the things they do with their partners. In exploring their love life, they do a lot of things, and they end up become so obsessed. Like, they wouldn't want to go and start doing these things with another person because they don't know how this person will take it. So they just feel like, I'm attached to this person.
And that man enabled her. He enabled her to do everything she was doing. He was there from the beginning, supporting it, encouraging it, filming it, sharing it around, bringing women, also him getting a piece of the action. He enabled her to feel almost comfortable in that relationship, that she feels that she has these tendencies that people might not understand. So him cutting her off is her like panicking. What happens next to me? What do I do? And the problem is also the whole idea of her saying, after all the time I've invested and at my age. That's another thing. Ladies, if you're watching this, do not be forced to marry because of age. Age is going to go. It doesn't matter, Age is just a number. I'm 33. I've never been married. I'm not even thinking about it. But that's the problem with girls like that, is that they feel that after investing so much, they deserve a piece of that pie. And that is why she was begging, because desperation kicked in. She was begging.
She makes me feel like a dinosaur on this set, my word.
What?
I'm just about to turn 50 in the next 1 or 2 months. Anyway,
But then
have
they
you ever
say
heard
I'm
a scripture
old.
that says, Coach David, in that day 7 women will take a hold of one man and say, we will eat our food, provide our own clothes, and only let us be called by your name. Take away
He put out his
disgrace.
Bible. He put out his Bible. It's hot.
I had to.
That is the Bible.
And Rita was just like, I can be second, third wife.
No, she is broken.
Apart
because
from your various opinions, one of the things that happens is that people raise their profile so much through their partners.
Yeah.
All right? What will people think if they say we broke up with Wilson? What will people say when I've said we have 3 months? Probably Chilanga Mulilo Chalipita, and stuff like that. And everybody has been invited to the wedding. And so she can't handle the breaking up of that. And I would repeat to everybody, it's not in the scripture. It's somewhere in the Bemba annals, an engagement is a better place to be broken than a marriage. In Kovekela, Techupo, you're better off having a broken relationship than a broken marriage. And so listen, look at all the red flags and be sure that you need to get into this. Even if it's 1 week before the wedding, if you're not sure, please walk away or wait until you are sure. But I want you to know theologically that towards the end, there will come a scenario statistically,
That's a conversation for another day.
First of all, I don't know.
One of the
I
things-
don't know
one of the
which
things is
which country you're living in, but
No, watch.
we've even reached a stage where women do not want to take their husbands' names and continue to use their own names.
No.
Oh, we want
But
the
they still want
names
to-
of
but
a
they still want
man.
to
Why?
get married.
Because I will
but
feel
they still want to
better.
get married.
Is that
No.
A lot of women pretend. A lot of women
Let
pretend
me
like,
tell
oh,
you,
we are
I am
independent, but-
saying it live or recorded on a channel. 15 years ago, there were no single women over 30 talking about being single. This is us taking a stand and saying that there's nothing wrong with us. We're still okay whether we get your name or we do not get your name.
Okay, there's a point which I am agreeing with you. I got 3 daughters.
They must be lovely.
Awesome. The eldest is an engineer building houses in one of the harshest places in the world, if you will ever know, on one of the marshes on the big lake. All right? She's an engineer. And I've looked in her face and told her, that's why she studied building science. I told her, you will not be threatened by a man, and you will not, grow up and beg for a man. You are a whore even before you find a man. But when you find me a son-in-law, find a good one, all right? And I've heard not only my children, but the youth who repeatedly say, hey, listen, even if I don't get married, I'm fine and okay. And even if you don't get married, you are fine and okay.
I just
He's
hope
taking
they
my
mean it.
lines.
I just hope they
Alright.
mean it.
I want us to
And I hope they mean it.
I want us to take a short break and watch something. But before I do, from Rita's perspective, her obsession, is society putting pressure on women to get married, or is it our culture? I want you to leave a comment below, and we're going to talk about it in the next episode of the Divorce Club Aftermath. But right now, let's watch a few clips, and then we'll be right back.
You know what? All this time I've been looking to find Coco, okay?
So you've been trying to find Coco in me? No, say it. You've been trying to find Coco in me.
Welcome back. You are watching the Divorce Club Aftermath, and I'm your coach, Coach David. We're having a heated time right now.
Yeah.
And the clip we just watched, okay, it's getting a little sad. I mean, Wilson has been trying to turn Rita into Coco. I mean, that's just sad.
Yeah.
He's been looking for his ex in his current partner. That's just sad.
Mental torture.
So is Wilson the problem?
Yes, because whatever this chick is going to do, it's not going to keep that guy. Because in his mind, he just wants Coco. Where a man reaches a stage where he feels that he wants to be with you, but he wants to change you into something that is not you. How would you feel? How would you, for me, I just don't even understand why she's still in that relationship when this man has made it clear. And sometimes I feel that, speaking non-biasedly, that sometimes we women are also the problem because we can see the red signs, but we keep on pretending it doesn't happen. We keep changing to make sure these good-for-nothing men are comfortable in our
I'm gonna
space,
defend
and
the
we
men
are
here.
changing to appease them, to make them feel comfortable, to make me, a man buys me a lipstick which his ex is wearing because it will make me feel good.
But okay, hold on. So let's say, so you say it's wrong to use your ex as a point of reference?
It's
as a
no,
representation?
he's literally trying to change his current girlfriend.
So
to
if
look
the
like his
lipstick
ex.
used to look nice on Andy, things to look nice on you, that's a problem.
You know that's not what she's trying to do, David. You're trying. You know that's not what he's trying to
No,
do.
but it always starts from there because
No.
look, literally.
Next thing he's gonna be
he-
buying her a bulb as well. He's gonna be buying her the same shade of shoes she's wearing.
But looking at Coco in terms of her behavior, the way she came out, she looked so humble, so calm. And probably Wilson will be like, probably if I do these things for Rita may, Rita may become like Coco in terms, because you'd hear him tell Rita to say, Mungulu, you stop behaving like this. You know what I mean?
I wonder what English word Mungulu is.
So now you find that he starts thinking, okay, we've spent a lot of time with Rita, but Coco was the best. So how can I turn Rita into Coco, in terms of behavior, maybe dressing? Because if you remember on the other show, someone was saying the way you dress, you don't dress well, you don't. So
that was Charles.
Yes.
Yeah, Charles
so
was
in
the
most
problem.
cases, certain men You know what I mean? They would feel like, okay, fine, I want to stay with this person, but there's certain things that they don't do. Why can't I start doing these things for them to make them be the way I want them to be? You know what I mean?
Point of interjection. The problem I have with what you've said is that you are like, oh, Coco is better than this one. Of course, we understand that Rita is crazy, right? But the truth of the matter is that you mentioned something that really winds me up as a feminist, that, oh, Coco is humble. I don't know why Zambians are fixated with this notion of humility, and that humility makes a woman seem more attractive. They have problems. Zambian men have problems with women who are loud and outspoken because you feel that you cannot shut them up.
No.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
So, I'm still talking, Mr. Doctor.
In your preamble, you said we all agree that Rita is crazy.
Yes.
So just that.
But what I've noticed.
Would you stay with Rita?
But what I've noticed.
If you're Wilson,
you want the country to burn me if I say I want to stay with Rita.
If you're Wilson, would you be with Rita?
I wouldn't, but then it's got nothing to do with her being outspoken. It's got everything to do with the actions. This chick broke his house, damaged his TV. That's a reason for him to leave. Not that she's outspoken or that she presents herself more loudly than the girl who barely. The other chick did not say a lot of words in the entire episode because you guys like that. You like women who you feel you can subdue.
No. That's stereotype again.
Most men like women who they feel they can subdue.
Listen, there is no...
I said most.
Yeah, but there is no scientific research about that. There are people like me who love strong women. My wife... Jane is a tough cookie. All right, she will look you in the face and say, "Can we talk?" And no, you have to switch off the TV and give me full attention. All right. Oh no, that's oh my word, that's Jane. And so you need to be able to know that number one, it's not fundamentally true that all the men love quiet women. In fact, some men come and say, she's too quiet, she doesn't talk to me, and things like that. And so that's why I find myself going away to go and chat with my friends and so on and so forth. In counseling, I have been able to meet those people. But in Coach David's question, is it because this Wilson is trying to turn this girl into a Coco?
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes men are just limited. If Coco introduced this guy to this lipstick, that is all she knows. All right? When my wife introduced me to NC52 of MAC powder, that is all I know. All right?
Yeah.
I don't know your shade either.
But let's not forget that Wilson did say initially that he was in love with Coco.
Of course,
this love did not develop after the 1 week she burned his stuff down.
They were in a relationship. Coco is the ex to Wilson.
Yes, but so if you're in love with someone and you're in a relationship with someone, where do you think your mind goes? Who are you thinking of?
So if the person that you are with tends to become so crazy like Rita, definitely your mind will go back to the person that you love.
Tends to become.
You know what I mean?
But then let's also not forget that as much as Rita is the villain in this story, let's not forget that she did mention that he hit her first. She did mention that in the episode, that you hit me first.
And then she wounded him like that?
But then maybe you can see the scars on her body.
First and foremost, violence should never be
tolerated.
None of the violence should be condoned.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is that maybe she also retaliated, not to make excuses for her, but she did mention that as much as her anger and her violence is visible to most people, the truth of the matter is that maybe his is not. He might also have a violent component. It's just that when addressed, he does not react the way she does. So people react to anger and pain in different ways.
Yeah.
So maybe she's just more outspoken about her anger and frustrations than he is. But that does not mean that he's a good guy. That did not do anything also to harm her.
No, but for Rita to continuously saying she just wants to be even third or fourth wife.
That obsession was way off the table.
It was.
But okay, let's talk about where do people draw the line in relation between your ex and your current? You're dating this girl and she was this amazing person to you, whether in bed, all those things, and then you come to your current and then there are certain things missing. Is it wrong for a partner to want to teach I mean, we see this with women as well. Some women could be dating a guy who's dressing as good as this, as Love Doctor. And then they meet this guy who doesn't know how to dress.
Do what they do in the streets that men who dress
so you're gonna make him like your ex?
So is it wrong where do couples draw the line in trying to for reference points between their exes and their currents? Okay. Is it wrong to teach your current a few things you learned from your ex in the bid to make them a better person? Is it wrong?
And from what she said when you are dating or when you're in a relationship, you are grooming each other. You know what I mean? So definitely there are certain things that you know to say, these are nice things. These are, great things for my partner. So even when you break up with this person that was so great, that taught you how to do certain things, and then you start going out with a new person, and you find that they are totally different in terms of the way they dress, you start bringing in those things that you were groomed, or that you groomed each other with the other person, you start bringing them in.
So sometimes it happens like unconsciously.
Sometimes it's very conscious because probably she or he is bringing out this negativity too much in your face, and then you start thinking, well, the other person never used to behave like this. So how can I work out with this person to bring out the behavior of the other person? You know what I mean? The good behavior, of course. A lot of others have heard other people say, when they are sleeping with their partners, they start thinking of for them to feel
like
great,
this.
for them to enjoy.
Now that's where some of the problems begin. All right,
the bed should be left alone.
Please,
don't copy and paste.
Don't rock the boat.
But exactly that. Listen, I've dealt with couples. So let's take it extreme where it's just a breakup, whether it was a divorce or in a relationship before marriage, that you broke up and you dated another person. If you go in a relationship looking for the partner you've broken up with, your relationship is going to be a problem. So you can't be looking for Coco in Rita. These are two different personalities. They are, personality molding experiences will be totally different. And that's key to what we call, which defines a happy relationship. It's about needs. All right? Needs. So the need pattern comes from a personality molding experiences. Rita and Coco were in a different place, parent-wise, brothers and sisters, how they grew up, their experiences. So by the time you're having a relationship with Rita, you can't expect a Coco in that particular person. So until you deal with your past relationship, you're not ready for the next one.
But then again, this story just also shows us one thing, that you can't please men. Like, this man had an array.
Really a feminist.
Yeah, that's a strong feminist.
This man had a selection of women in this relationship. He had all sorts of flavors, but he still chose to leave. Sis, if you're doing it because you like it, do it. Do not involve a man who is just going to mess everything up.
From the look of
you
things,
can make a man happy.
You can, but that does not ensure that he is going to stay.
Oh my word! Oh my word!
Bish has made his match today. But from the look of things, it seems like Wilson hasn't healed. Because he kept on looking for Coco in Rita and he couldn't find it. So my question to the viewers before we get to wind up, how long should it take before a person heals, before they move to the next relationship? And how do you know that you've healed? I want you to leave a comment in the section below. Lovely Doctor.
Well, I feel healing, of course, takes a process. And in most cases, people would want to do a rebound to use another person to heal you. But then you need, before you decide to go into another relationship. For Wilson, they never broke up. Okay? Wilson had a situation, and then Coco took advantage of the situation. You know what I mean? So for 3 days, Wilson was at Coco's place. But then if you break up, you need to at least take some time where you feel now to say, I'm ready to go into a relationship, to be a new person in this relationship without carrying the bricks of the past. You know what I mean? So it's up to you. And in most cases, like here in Zambia, we don't usually want to go to counselors. You know what I mean? We just feel like we can heal on our own. But once we come out of a relationship, we need to be counseled. We need to go to Bish. We need to come to Love Dog. We need to go to Situ. so that we are
So tell you
cancelled.
to just leave. Forget.
Bring
Forget
them
about
to
men.
me
Forget about men.
So that we are cancelled and we are calm. Our emotions are back to normal. We are reset to go into another relationship. Without that, definitely we are not going to have a peaceful relationship, because all the time you're going to bring in issues of your past.
Okay. Can healing take days, weeks, years, months?
Days, no, I think weeks, months, yes. Days, it's pretense. You just feel like, okay, unless if you never loved the person that you're with in a relationship, then definitely you can move on. Or you're a player. So if you're a player, definitely you will not have this time to heal. But then you are going to create a lot of problems for yourself, because you think you are playing the game, but the game is playing you.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Chandam Tuna always calls me old school. So let me be old school about this particular one. Well, there is no stipulated period of time for the healing process to happen. In any tragedy, whether it's a relationship, accident, death, it is simply the process of, number one, acknowledging it has happened, because it starts with first shock, has this broken, and then number two, you begin to say, oh, I accept it as, or denial, usually, denial, number two. Number three, accept it has happened. Then the healing process begins. Some people get stuck with denial, shock, before they can accept, my partner has died, my partner has walked out on me, they prefer somebody else apart from me. So others take a shorter period of time, others take years. But just go through that. I know there is shock that the relationship is broken. I know there is denial. It can't happen to me. But ultimately, you must get to the place where you accept. This has happened. Pick yourself up and begin to go. And so that process could take 2-5 years, but it can also take 5 days. Or maybe weeks, at least, not days. Because if you really were in love,
if you're a player, 5 days.
When you've been in a strong relationship, it will take months, if not a year, for you to be healed properly, to move on.
Like,
Now,
I didn't give my perspective, Coach David.
Okay, no, please go ahead.
For me, the problem is, like, straight talk. As a feminist, they always make it seem that we're the kind of women who, when we get hurt, we're just going to like dust it off and then start again in the morning. But it's not true. We also go through so much pain, especially where you reach a level of comfortability and vulnerability with an individual, where you feel like you have bared your soul and you have told yourself that this is finally it. And then, for instance, a man, like you said, chooses someone over you. The worst thing I believe is women then start to question themselves, like, am I not good enough? Am I not worthy? Is this person prettier or better than me? What did I do to deserve this? You know, then we go through the whole, I hate men, I wish they could all burn.
Men are trash.
Yeah, no, do not even bring that one there. That is in the feminist Bible. We do not have time for that. No, but then you find that we reach a stage where
There's a Bible, bitch.
There is a Bible, you just learned one.
and the coven. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say in this very important non-interruptive space is that even feminists, women who are strong, who have their shit together, go through this kind of pain. And it's difficult for us to heal because everybody expects us to be strong when we shouldn't be strong. But it's okay to break down. It's okay to cry over love lost. But what matters is that at the end of the day, you need to realize that you are more than enough for who you are.
Wow.
And that once you find that space, once you find that individuality that you feel you have lost, then you can get better and still give love a chance. Love is beautiful. Do not make one man's experience with you deter you from falling in love and finding that person who is going to sit down, have a joint with you at 5 a.m.
I feel like giving her a hand.
I was about to clap until she said joint.
Sorry, bitch. I'm sorry. I'm learning to.
I was about to give a standing ovation until you said a joint. Oh my Jesus.
Sorry, Mom.
I gotta pray for you.
All right, before we get to close the show, at the end of the episode, Wilson confesses that he's in love with Coco. But yeah, it was clear when they just walked in.
Yeah.
And when I saw them, I was like, who's this?
That's sexual tension.
But then he's got this fiance who has invested so much in the relationship, and they've been together for 4 years. What do you think Wilson should do at this place? He's in love with his ex. but he's got this current who's invested so much in the relationship. What should he do?
What he should do is what he should have done before he reached that poor girl's house. He should have walked away before the Mbale even reached the house. The very fact that he let this ride on up to the stage it is and entangled everyone in the process means that he has a lot of explaining to do. What he should do is he should leave Rita alone, who's already in such a bad state that she can't handle her emotions.
But she's obsessed. She wants to marry him at all costs. So
but even him, like you said, why do women stay? Why is he also staying? What is there? What is he shipikisha
Well,
in
he's
his
about to
relationship?
go.
but he wants to leave. He wants to leave. He made it clear.
He needs to go, but then, as much as he needs to go, he has to make sure that he takes ownership for the pain he's caused his current girlfriend.
Okay. And I feel we don't know how long Coco stayed in Ghana, so probably the relationship wouldn't have ended. Maybe Coco just left, and then
Wilson didn't deal with that pain.
You know what I mean? So he continued loving Coco in her absence.
Instead of looking for Coco in Rita.
Coco
you know? So now that Coco is back, all those emotions that he tried to suppress or tried to transfer to Rita are like in flames. Now he just wants to go back
Brother,
to Coco.
please, he was just looking for an excuse to go somewhere and he found it in Coco. And the sad truth is that even though he's with Coco right now, the next woman, if he hooks up with Coco, he's going to look for the other woman better than Coco after that.
But in this situation, it is very clear. When we all started this, we said we saw how crazy Rita is.
Rita is cray-cray. I understand that. But look at
Why
the
would you
situation
stay in a
she's
relationship that long with a crazy person?
with a
like
man that has molded you into something that you are not.
Someone who apologizes, the next minute she's
Boom.
forgot about
But
the
that's
apology.
what you men do to women.
So
You make
maybe
us
because
sensitive.
Rita's craziness was because Wilson was trying to turn her into Coco. So there was a malfunction.
Yeah.
So Wilson needs to take ownership.
Imagine someone has been videographing you naked,
Wow.
doing all these obscene
That's-
acts
that's-
with
Yeah, that's
people.
wrong.
You know what I mean?
That is
wrong.
And he is participating. He's probably directing, saying, "Put your hand there, face each other like that." You know what I mean?
Save me
And
from there. I need to go to
I'm
heaven.
I'm sorry, bitch.
I'm
but
trying to make
Getting
heaven.
graphical.
forgive the visual. But
You
what
know,
I'm
but
trying
for the new
to say
age,
is,
for the new age, it's like it's a norm. these
let's not
days,
even
you know?
pretend
So-
it's a new age. Majority of men in Zambia are interested in hooking up, watching women hook up. That's why the second most common thing
Is that
are you in
because-
for a threesome? They do that. Bish, I'm sorry.
been around
These
town.
streets are dirty. These streets
Bish,
are dirty.
Are you telling me?
You don't need holy water, you need a holy hose pipe. Like, just go around. It's happening and we can't ignore it. As much as we say it's not cultural, it's not Christian, the truth of the matter is we keep ignoring it, but it's happening. And it's not just homosexuals or people who men into men or women into women.
There's
It's
so
also
much going
straight
on.
men willing to look at two women get down on it because it makes them feel good. The more we pretend, bitch, that this is not happening,
I
the more
hear
it will
you.
happen.
I hear you
It is
loud and
happening.
clear. I'm a counselor.
Yes.
I've been a
Forgive
pastor
me.
for the last 25 years.
Yes.
So trust me, I
Yeah.
have heard and counseled people of all situations.
Yeah.
But in any relationship that you're in, if the red flags begin to come,
Yeah.
you are better off getting out of that situation
Yeah.
than getting to the place of breaking cars, laptops, and all that.
Yeah.
I was shocked that she's inspecting him and smelling him
Smelling
of.
him.
That was
That was
That caught me unaware. I didn't know there are people who smell. Are there people?
These things happen. We've heard of stories. Women have complained as well to say, my husband, each time I go home from a kitchen party, he comes to inspect me, to smell me.
Yeah.
You know, because he thinks there was no kitchen party that I went to. You know what I mean? Equally, wives will come and inspect their husbands.
Yeah.
Like, stand here, I want to see.
Yeah.
wow.
I've heard those as well.
Crazy. Well, we could go on and on and on and on. The conversation is just hot. I want you to keep the conversation running in the comments. Leave your thoughts. Tell us, was Wilson wrong? What should Wilson do? Was Coco wrong? Was Rita wrong? Was she crazy? Leave a comment in the section below and get a chance to feature in the next episode of the Divorce Club Aftermath. Until next time, I'm your coach, Coach David. Thank you for watching us.
This episode of the Divorce Club Aftermath is brought to you by Rano.